Majin Buu, the goofiest villain of the Dragon Ball universe, but certainly not one to be taken lightly. Buu is a powerful character, one that can stand up to the likes of Super Saiyan 3 Goku. However, in this version of the story that we're discussing today, there's a lot more power to be had from the Dragon Team. Can this version of Buu keep up? Before I continue, if you're new to this channel, please check out the first part of the series right above my head, and I will see you in a little while after you catch up. Don't forget to like and subscribe, it helps the channel out immensely. There's a common occurrence I see with these what-if stories where once we get around to the time of the Buu saga, people have either become massively overleveled from what they were in the original series, or the story's ended because they've all died by then. But in the case where they're all a lot more powerful, oftentimes the Buu saga tends to be chalked up to, oh, they succeeded, Buu didn't get resurrected at all, and now we're going to move on with the story. I don't really like that. You see, in the true traditional Akira Toriyama fashion, I feel as though the story would be written to accommodate the likes of Majin Buu in this new environment. It's for this reason I incorporated the likes of Golden Cooler onto Babidi's squad in their attempts to free Majin Buu. With a much more powerful being on their side, it wasn't a decisive victory for the Dragon Team, because when they finished off Dabura, it turned out he wasn't the final person to fight. Even though Vegeta couldn't be controlled, there was still a powerful foe. And a powerful foe indeed he turned out to be. The Dragon Team dealt with quite a bit of battling, and in the midst of it all, enough energy was successfully captured for Buu to be freed. And to make matters worse, they still can't feel what's going on around them. Babidi's sorcery still shrouded the area to prevent them from using instant transmission to escape, as per recommendation by Cooler, who had seen that when they leave, they tend to fuse together. So, in the midst of all this, the Dragon Team present fighting Golden Cooler in the desert is fully unaware of the fact that Buu has just been revived. But they are not the only Dragon Team members on Earth. Nappa is currently on his way to the arena to scoop everyone up and take them to the lookout, but will some of them try to head over to Majin Buu and deal with the problem themselves? Let's continue. Nappa arrived at the arena and hastily tried to gather everyone together. He instructed them to make their way directly to the lookout, and everyone started flying away except for one. Hercule did not know how to fly, and through a little bit of argument, he accepted the fact that he was going to have to piggyback off Nappa to make it. He wasn't into the idea of parlor tricks or anything like that. In this version of the story, the Cell games never even happened, so a lot of these were first experiences for Hercule entirely. But as Nappa was flying through the air with him right on his back, he kind of came to a little bit of an acceptance that maybe some of this is real. Back at Babidi's ship, Majin Buu exited from the pod, the pink smoke billowing around him. Babidi rejoiced. He was very ecstatic. This was a huge victory for him, and in his eyes, a lot of problems had been solved. He knew that Golden Cooler individual was a pretty valuable asset to him still, keeping the Dragon Team occupied in the desert, so he decided to leave that area shrouded and take Majin Buu with him to start rampaging through the town. And that's exactly what they did. Buu was looking for some fun, and by fun, havoc definitely ensued. And a lot of the Dragon Team made it to the lookout, but Nappa was lagging behind a bit. He was still dealing with Hercule on his back, arguing when they heard explosions going off in the distance.
What was that? Hey, big fella, we gotta go check that out.
Not a chance, pal, Nappa interjected. I'm getting you directly to the lookout. What we do after that, we can figure it out. But right now, I have one mission.
Ah, come on, big guy. That city needs the champ. And a sidekick, too. Let's say we get over there and take him out together.
Nappa halted for a moment, with the sudden stop making Hercule cling twice as hard onto him. He could tell this human was afraid, but he could also tell he did want to be a hero. And Nappa was up for some fun. He knew that Dende would be upset with him too if he didn't at least put an effort into trying to help the people of Earth. Alright, guy, we'll go check it out together, but if you call me your sidekick to anyone, I'll pummel you into the ground myself. And with that, they started flying towards the explosions. Over in the desert, the fight had begun to slow down quite a bit. Everyone was becoming exhausted, from Cooler to the Dragon Team alike. Cooler had been injured by that final flash, but it wasn't nearly enough to finish him off, and things had turned into a bit of a stalemate. I was unaware that you Namekians could perform a similar fusion like those monkeys over there.
That seemed to have been a grave miscalculation on my part. Grave miscalculation is an understatement. If I have anything to say about it, it'll be the last miscalculation you ever do. You speak with such confidence, Namekian. I admire that. However, I do believe enough energy has been gathered by now. Do you think not?
Speaking of miscalculations, this was one on Bobity's part. He was under the impression that he had basically full control of Cooler. However, Cooler had been using him the entire time, much like how Vegeta did in the original series in order to gain the power that he needed. You see, Cooler had done the math. He kind of figured up the amount of energy that it would take in order for Boo to be freed, and he saw that his job was pretty well done. Although things had gone into a stalemate, he knew that his golden form wasn't going to last much longer. He's yet to refine it, much like Frieza did in Dragon Ball Super when he came back to life. This is still a rudimentary form that cannot be held for very long because of the stamina drain. And Cooler is no fool. He knows that it's time for him to try and make his leave again. And he also knew exactly what to say to get the Dragon Team riled up in time for him to make his escape. The Dragon Team was worried. This did come as a shock to them, completely forgetting that during this battle, their energy needed to be preserved, and they did not really do a good job at it. They had expended an enormous amount of energy throughout this fight, and surely it was enough for Majin Buu to be brought back to life. Everyone was cursing themselves, especially Shin and Kibito, but in this moment of chaos, Cooler made his escape. Piccolo, without a second thought, went in pursuit, but the rest of the team were lagging behind. They didn't really know what to do. Should they stay behind? They still couldn't feel anything going on. And they decided they would pursue for a little bit, but they needed to think of something quickly. Back at the city, Nappa arrived on the scene with Hercule on his back. The sight that they saw was actually pretty surprising. The little potato man was riding this pink blob and causing destruction and mayhem everywhere. But Boo seemed to be having fun with it. He hardly seemed like a villain, just a toddler causing a bunch of damage without even intending to do so.
Hey, you over there! You need to stop hurting people!
Boo looked over at the person speaking to him and locked eyes with Hercule. And in an instant, he was right in his face. But there didn't seem to be a lot of malice going on. And in fact, the only person that seemed truly angry was Bobbity, for jerking him several feet over in order to mate with him.
Oh, hi! I'm Boo! Who are you?
Hercule was definitely afraid, but he tried to suck it up to be the hero that he needed to be.
I'm Hercule, the World Martial Arts Champion, and it's nice to meet you, Boo.
Bobbity couldn't hold his anger in any longer.
Enough of this prattle, Boo! Kill them!
Although Boo was a little annoyed, he did move to kind of comply. But he saw it as more of playtime than anything. Nappa, however, stepped up to the plate, immediately going into Super Saiyan and fighting Majin Buu. But the fight wasn't even close. Boo was toying with him, laughing the entire time. Nappa was getting a little angry and eventually decided that he needed to go into Super Saiyan 2 just to keep up. And when he did, it was a lot more even. The older Saiyan was keeping up with this pink blob pretty well, but it was still getting under his skin. Boo just kept laughing about it. He saw it as nothing but a game. Nappa was glancing around and seeing places destroyed. This person, he could really be a menace, and he still couldn't feel where the rest of the Dragon Team was. But he needed to do something right then and there. Hercule was yelling, however. In that short instance, he could see that Boo was actually just being controlled by this other guy. It wasn't really his decision to go around hurting people, and it didn't take him long to realize Boo wasn't necessarily a bad guy. He's just someone that needed different guidance. Another issue was arising too. Nappa was starting to draw his breaths heavier and heavier as he became more exhausted, but Boo, his energy seemed to be endless. Eventually, he started to get way too worn out to keep up with Boo anymore, and Boo started to get a little bored.
That was fun, but Boo bored now. I make you into candy.
Before Nappa could even respond, a beam was shot directly at him, and he was turned into chocolate. Boo waltzed over, picked up the candy bar, and ate it. And this was to the horror of Hercule, but he tried to keep it in the back of his mind that this was not Boo's fault. He was still being controlled. Bobbity spouted orders for him to kill Hercule next, but Boo seemed a little conflicted.
Boo don't want to hurt Hercule. Hercule Boo's friend.
That's right! I'm your friend, Boo! And that little guy over there, he's the mean one. You should take care of him.
Bobbity was floored by this. He thought it was hilarious that Hercule would even suggest that he be the one taken out. But the laughter turned into shock as he saw Boo indeed turn around and go directly after him. It didn't take much for Boo to break free from Bobbity's spells, and when he did, Bobbity's life was cut abruptly short. Hercule would have thought of another method to take him out, but I guess he would take that one. However, Nappa was gone, and this was sad. How was he going to explain this to his friends? He had no idea, but at the very least, this powerful fighter right there is now on their side. But as Boo and Hercule were getting to chat, someone came out of the rubble. No one of sheer importance, but someone armed and angry that their city had just been destroyed. They took a look at Hercule and Boo and saw them both as bad guys if they were talking with each other, and he aimed his gun directly at Hercule, firing and injuring him. Boo saw this happen, and he became angry. He went over and disarmed the person, not killing them, because he wasn't too keen on doing that. However, he swatted him away, and he went back to Hercule, healing him, and much like in the original series, this anger buildup caused smoke to billow out of him. Evil Boo popped out, and a fight took place much like it did in the original, with the result being Super Boo being born. Meanwhile, at the desert, the shroud that was surrounding them finally lifted. As they were in pursuit of Cooler, they felt an enormous power off in the distance, and they realized they were indeed too late. Divide and conquer seemed to be the only viable strategy left, with nobody there to defend the area the Boo was around. Piccolo and Gohan continued their pursuit of Cooler, while Goku, Vegeta, and Raditz made their way using instant transmission to Boo's location. Krillin decided to head to the lookout because he felt some powers there and wanted to know what was happening. Perhaps his wife was there. It was the hope that he had. Kibito followed Piccolo and Gohan while Shin went with the three Saiyans, and the trio of Saiyans along with him arrived on the scene to see chaos ensued right before their eyes. What they saw before them shocked them. This person, this pink foe, wasn't anything that they expected, but was 10 times as destructive as what they'd anticipated. Shin was aghast at what he saw before him. This was even worse than he had ever remembered. But the Saiyans stood confident. Surely the three of them combined could take out this foe. But that's where we're going to be leaving things for right now. What do you guys think? Can Super Boo overcome these three foes? Definitely the stacks seemed against him right now. However, this is Super Boo we're talking about, not regular Majin Buu. Which means there could be a lot of tricks up his sleeve. We're going to have to find out next week what happens. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.